Welcome to the Parkinson's Project podcast. The Parkinson's Project seeks to erase the stigma associated with Parkinson's disease while empowering and inspiring those dealing with the affliction to live life to the fullest. The Parkinson's Project aspires to build an engaged, supportive community while examining the journey of living with Parkinson's disease through a positive, empowering perspective. Here is your host of the Parkinson's Project podcast, Tim McNiff.
Hi again, everybody, and welcome back to the first episode of 2023 for the Parkinson's Project podcast. This is episode 29. And if you recall back in 2022, because it was so long ago, at the Parkinson's Project, we seek to engage with people who are actively looking to find a cure, who are looking to help others live their best life, or to create a better path for themselves or for someone that they love. Our intent, of course, is to deliver beneficial, tangible content with the goal being to put ourselves out of business when there is no longer a need to talk about PD. And with that, I would like to welcome to our first show of 2023, author, speaker, and PD Avenger, Tim Hague Sr. Tim, welcome to the Parkinson's Project podcast.
Well, thank you, Tim. It's a pleasure to be here. And what a great opportunity to have two Tims, right?
Well, how rare is that?
I think it's going to be dynamite.
Well, I want to just fully disclose there's normally a process that I go through before we do these, and it involves setting up a phone call with the proposed guest, getting them the questions beforehand. We kind of touch base and get acquainted with each other. And we're recording this on January 2nd, 2023. And because of the holidays, I have been all over the place. I want to just thank you, Tim, for being exceptionally patient and gracious and giving up what here in America, at least, is a paid holiday to participate.
No worries, Tim. It's a paid holiday here as well, but we make these things happen as we can, right? Life is busy, so I appreciate you having me on. It's a pleasure. And
I appreciate you having here. As I said in the introduction, you are an author, a speaker, and you draw on your own experiences, as you put it in one of your posts, a Parky. I've heard Parkinsonian before, but that's the first time I've heard Parky, and I like that better, quite frankly. Tim, were you a speaker and an author before you were diagnosed with PD, or was it that diagnosis that inspired you to explore those skills in an effort to reach out to other people?
Yeah, I was a speaker for a long time before being diagnosed with Parkinson's. My dad was a pastor. I grew up in church and cut my teeth speaking in youth groups and camps and that type of thing long time ago. I grew up back in Kansas City, and that's where I got my speaking start. So when Parkinson's came along, it was just a natural extension of what I was already had a lot of experience doing.
In a sense, Tim, do you feel, nobody ever wishes this on anybody, but do you feel that it was sort of your calling to do that?
Well, it's interesting that you use that term because, yes, it's exactly the term that my wife and I use. This is what I feel like I've been called to do. It's where I've been planted, so it's where I want to grow, and I've got certain gifts, as we all do. I think speaking is one of them, so yeah, I feel like this is what I'm meant to be doing, and specifically with U-Turn Parkinson's. It's a charity that we started here in Winnipeg. It's very much a local entity at this point, but we're growing across Canada, and it's a wellness center for people living with Parkinson's disease. Our goal is to empower them in their pursuit of wellness, and so that's what we feel like is really what we're meant to be doing right now.
So let's stay with that, because that was one of my questions that I had, Tim. U-Turn Parkinson's, based in Winnipeg, where you are?
Yes. Yeah.
What is sort of the scope of what's being offered, or could someone in Minneapolis, where I am, or maybe if they're watching in Texas or Florida, could they also benefit from the programs and services offered by U-Turn Parkinson's?
Absolutely. When I was diagnosed back in 2011, I was 46. And the doc told me, it said if I could do any one thing, I'd make everyone with Parkinson's an athlete. So whatever exercise you're doing, continue doing that. And if you can, do more. So I was pumped by that. I was excited because I'd come into my meeting with him fearful that he'd say, you have to cut back because we're fear of falling and things like that. So I went out and started looking. How do I get involved? What is there for me to get involved in? And what are the best things that I should be doing for Parkinson's? Is there nutrition issues that I should be looking at? Or what kind of activity should I be doing? What's the best for Parkinson's? And I discovered that there was nothing available, absolutely nothing. And I was a nurse at that time. I had nursed for probably 18 years at that point. And so the nurse in me said, this just isn't right. This can't stand. So we went and started U-Turn Parkinson's, a wellness center with the goal of offering holistic programming to people with Parkinson's so that they can live their best with this disease, despite having the disease. So we offer Rock Steady boxing classes, our Empower You classes that are a HIIT-based kind of program looking at functional exercise. We do speech therapy and voice therapy through our U-Tunes program, which is a singing group, which is absolutely fantastic. I love it. And it works on our voices. And then we do support groups and educational events and all of that. And we are live in person and live online. And we have a library of on-demand videos that you can access 24/7, all through uturnpd.org.
That was my next question, is where do people find you? uturnpd.org.
Yeah, uturnpd.org. And we take the name from my time spent on The Amazing Race back in the day. And on The Amazing Race, there was an opportunity to U-turn another team, right? And the goal of that U-turn was to slow that other team down or eliminate them from the race. So our goal at U-Turn Parkinson's is to slow the disease and ultimately eliminate it from life. And our big push for that is through exercise. We know that exercise is our second gold standard medication for treating Parkinson's, right? We've got our levodopa, our cinnamon. The second best thing that we have for treating our symptoms is exercise. So that's what we focus on at U-Turn.
I love it. And you're leading me again into my next one. 2013, you and your son, Tim Hague Jr., competed in and, yes, subsequently won the first season of The Amazing Race Canada. So had you been diagnosed at that time? And so I was wondering, what compelled you to compete? Why do you think that you guys were able to ultimately win? And what has been the after effect of that experience?
Well, I had been diagnosed for 2 years already. I was diagnosed in 2011, and we ran the race in 2013. How we won was sheer luck and blessing, I guess, because it wasn't due to our skill. You can go to my website, or you can go to YouTube and find it at Tim Hague Sr. and watch our season of the Amazing Race. Go to my website, timsenior.ca, and you can find it there. You'll see that we never performed well. We were always lost. We were chronically behind. We came in last twice, and the only reason we got to continue was because those were not elimination legs, in which they spare you, allow you to stay on the race and keep going, but you are given an extra task the next day. Well, we performed the best on those days than any other day. It's crazy. And we somehow hung in despite Parkinson's, despite our inability to read a map, and we ended up winning the thing, which changed everything. I ended up speaking for World Parkinson's Congress there in 2013 in Montreal. They had me on as a special guest speaker. I spoke for 5 minutes, and out of that 5 minutes has come a world of opportunity of advocating and speaking on behalf of Parkinson's around the world. So it's had a huge effect on life, and a hugely positive one.
Oh, that's fabulous. We had a gentleman who I'm sure you're familiar with, Larry Gifford, on this late fall. He's a fellow Canadian with you.
I sort of know Larry.
What's that?
I sort of know Larry.
He claims to be the founder or a founder of PD Avengers, and you are also a member of that organization. Can you talk about your affiliation with PD Avengers?
Sure. Larry, Sonia Mather, and I all co-founded PD Avengers, and Larry is our president and kind of main spokesperson who leads the way. We each work in various areas of PD Avengers, wellness, advocacy, and research. But we are a global alliance of people with Parkinson's standing together, demanding change in how Parkinson's is seen and treated. We bring urgency to wellness, advocacy, and research. We want to see thousands more people join our cause and simply lend their voice to bringing urgency to ending Parkinson's. And we see that ability to end Parkinson's through more research dollars, more advocacy, more people understanding what the disease is about, what we need as a community, and how they need help, how we can be helped. And a big piece of that is through wellness, right? living our best through taking care of our bodies and our minds and living as well as we can with the disease.
I noticed on, I think it was on your website, one of them, that you had even the legislation that was before Congress here in the United States to try to get them to take action, which ultimately did not happen in this session, though it was a bipartisan effort. So your efforts really global in scope, aren't they?
Yes, we're very much a global enterprise. We have over 6,000 individuals who have joined PD Avengers. We are in 93 different countries, over 100 various Parkinson's organizations from around the globe who are partners with us. And we literally reach around the world, attempting to bring together all the voices of Parkinson's so that we are all heard and understood, and that together we believe we can end PD genuinely. But we think that we as individuals with the disease need to get actively involved to make that happen, that we can't wait for somebody else to do it for us, that we have to move forward on our own steam, on our own effort, and make this happen. Be heard and make progress actually happen.
Tim, how many years into your PD journey are you?
I am, 11? 2011 to 2022 is 11. Yeah, so I'm just about to 12.
Just about 12 years in.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have been working since that time. Part of what your effort has been, you talked about the speaking. Do you still travel for the speaking?
Yeah. I've actually been to Minneapolis. I spoke for Struthers, their health care. And
Fabulous.
been to Minneapolis a few times. I've been to, my goodness, most of the states. A lot of the states have spoken for just a huge variety of both corporate events, just keynotes in inspirational, motivational fashion, as well as many of the Parkinson's groups across the country, and then around the world as well.
Excuse me. And if people did want to book you as a speaker?
timsenior.ca. That's timsr.ca. So I'm giving you lots of websites this morning, right?
That's okay. That's good. Keep me honest. Keep me busy. You are also an author, Tim. You are the author of a book, Perseverance, the 7 skills you need to survive, thrive, and accomplish more than you ever imagined. So just by the title, it seems to go beyond PD in its focus. Is that accurate? And can we go through the 7 skills and still be out here in less than 30 minutes?
No, we can't. But I'll tell you what you can do. You can pick up the book. It's on Amazon. You also go to my website, timsenior.ca, and find it there. But it's on Amazon. You can pick it up there. And if you do, please just leave me a review. That's a huge help. But Perseverance stemmed out of the Amazing Race story, right? It is a bit of a memoir that tells the story of us running the Amazing Race and winning. It tells a bit of my adoption story. Back in 1964, I came into the world, via a 20-year-old white girl from Iowa, and my father was a 30-something-year-old married black man with kids. Well, in 1964, that wasn't going to happen, right? Not easily. So it tells a bit of that story, and then it talks about Parkinson's and the things that I've learned about persevering through life in general, through the Amazing Race, what it means to walk through life with difficulty, whether that be race issues or Parkinson's, and how to thrive, not just survive, not just get by, not just be happy, but to be able to find joy. Because I think that's what we really are looking for. Most people are looking for in life. And that's the first skill that I talk about in the book, is letting go of the happiness myth. And that happiness myth being that, we, as parents, I have 4 kids. As parents, we're often asked, what do we want for our kids? And one of the first things we'll often hear parents say is, I want my kids to be happy. And I don't think that's really what we mean. I don't think that's really what we want at the end of the day, is for my kids to be happy. Because for me, I define happiness as an ice cream cone on a warm summer's day, or for me, it's a milkshake. It's a chocolate milkshake on a warm summer day. That's the height of happiness for me. But what happens when my dog, my crazy dog Bella, yanks me down the road on her leash? I drop my shake and it's all over the ground. and Bella comes back and is licking it up, right? My happiness is gone unless I realize that what I'm really looking for is joy. And I stop and I realize that I had a couple sips of a chocolate shake on a warm summer's day. I have a beautiful dog that is well and rambunctious. I've been blessed with the ability to not only buy one shake, but I have money that I can go back and buy more than if I need to. That life is full of difficulty, that it's hard, that bad things happen, and that regardless of that, I can have joy. Not just happiness, not just that surface, make me feel good because I have a chocolate shake today, but I can be happy and joyful regardless of whether I get to drink that shake or not. So that's the first skill, is let go of the happiness myth. And then the other is understanding the nature of luck, accepting limits, cease striving, take every advantage, pay attention, find community. I've all outlined in my book. And it's probably easier to read there than to listen to me try to ramble through them all.
No, I promise you, I'm going to do it. This is really great stuff. I love your synopsis of happiness versus joy. That's really neat. Tim, what did you do before you were diagnosed? Because it seems like since your diagnosis, you seem to have given up your adult life to fighting this, which I commend you for. So what was your background prior?
Well, Parkinson's took my nursing career away from me.
That's right.
Yeah, I was a nurse for 21 years before having to retire. And I always tell people that the reason I had to retire from nursing was because people got real antsy when I came at them with a needle. They didn't like me starting IVs on them anymore for some reason. I'd say, just match your arm with my trimmer. We can do this.
That's right. I love the way you've used humor in your approach. Is that part of the survival?
Yeah, it's either laugh at it or cry, like literally. The disease is tough, right? And I consider myself to be very fortunate that I am not nearly as bad off as most people I know. And yet this disease is very, very difficult. And it's one of the most difficult things I find about it is that it's so unknown. You ask anybody out there if they've heard of Parkinson's. Yes, they've heard of Parkinson's, but they don't understand Parkinson's. Nobody understands Parkinson's. They don't understand that there's 40 different symptoms that come with it. They don't understand that you can get it at a very young age. They don't understand what it means to have real brain fog and an inability to put two sentences together like that. They don't understand what it means to have your job taken away from you at 51 when you look fine, when nobody understands why you're quitting because you look fine, but you're not. So it's a tough road to hoe, and I consider this my blessing to be able to move forward in this and to draw attention to it and to try to help my fellow Parkies.
It's fabulous. You also have a blog, and I want to spend just a moment with that too. Talk about the intent and purpose of your blog.
Well, I'm a talker, right? And so I was sitting at home not doing much at one point, and I thought, you know what, I should just go on Facebook Live and talk. And we'll talk about things about Parkinson's and life, just everyday life and Parkinson's. Well, it hit to a certain degree, and I've had a lot of people tune in week after week and say they enjoy it. And when I get a little too Parky and I fall off for a few weeks, I get people writing me saying, where are you at? What are you doing? What's going on? Are you okay? When are you bringing Coffee with Tim back? So we're back at it, and we try to meet every Friday morning at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time on Facebook Live. And we talk about life in Parkinson's, and it's just everyday stuff. It's not earth-shattering, earth-moving, but it's just an opportunity for folks to get together, have a quiet place to sit, have coffee together, and just say, this is what Parkinson's looks like. This is how we deal with it in everyday life. And hopefully it's an encouragement, and I hope to the folks who tune in and listen.
So I'd seen your videos on YouTube, Coffee with Tim, which I'm totally envious about the name. You got it, and darn it. But you also have written. Is there a difference between what you have written on your website, your sort of written blog versus Coffee with Tim?
Yeah, the blog is right. Sorry. The blog is just, again, my thoughts and everyday meanderings about Parkinson's in general. And to be honest with you, I'm not as consistent with the blog as I should be, but I think there's some good writing there. I enjoy writing. And there's some things there that's gotten some notice over time that I think folks might enjoy as well.
I appreciate your candor and the way you've been willing to talk about this. When you and I were trying to find a time to do this, I generally recorded these, during the day, and up until December, that was never an issue. I've started a new endeavor, which why we're recording on a holiday is because otherwise we'd be recording this in the evening, and I'm concerned about that, and I'm concerned about the effect it's going to have on this program and the people who are on it. And you had even said to me, if you might be saying, you don't know if you'll get me at my best at that time. So where you are in progression of your fight, time of day and medication and all the rest of it, that all matters.
It all matters. It all matters. Yeah. I mean, evenings I can take the day easy, not do much during the day and rest and try to relax and come into an evening event well prepared. But there's just no two ways about it. My body is tired by the end of the day, and it's tough to think, it's tough to talk, it's tough to stay engaged properly. You notice here even that as I talk, my dyskinesias are far worse for me than they've ever been, and it's tough to sit still. So it becomes just all that much worse as the day goes on. And again, my dyskinesias are nothing compared to some. But it's just, it all gets in your head, right? And half of Parkinson's is dealing with it in your head, keeping your attitude and your thoughts straight about where you're at in life. And so, yeah, evenings just get harder.
Well, I can't thank you enough for making yourself available here. What we seek to do here is, I knew absolutely nothing about Parkinson's disease when I was asked to host this show. And I told the gentleman who asked me to do this, I said, you heard the part where I said I didn't know anything about Parkinson's, right? And he persisted with this. So for me, it's been such an education, and it continues to be so. And I am emotionally moved by, this interaction. I really feel that you are a person worth following. I appreciate the fact that you are fighting the fight that you're fighting, and I want you to know that you have allies here. If you ever have anything that you have going that we can help promote, I want to be the first person you call. If I can give you benefit.
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. That means the world to us. So I think that I'll take you up on that right now, and I just encourage folks to tune into uturnpd.org and find our online classes. I know there's others out there, and we certainly take away from anything that you have locally. But if you don't have anything locally, if you're not tuned in to anyone who's helping you, go to uturnpd.org, find our online classes. There's a class schedule there. You can find live classes as well as static on-demand classes to help you live your best, because we need to be exercising. That's the first thing we need to be doing. Taking our meds, and our second med is exercise. We've got to be active. We've got to be, and that's my mission in life, to see as many Parkies, if you will, exercising as possible, because we talk about it a lot. It's talked about lots out there. You'll get lots of organizations who'll put on a fundraiser, a spin class, or a something, but that's not what we need. What we need is day to day exercise. That's what makes a difference. We don't take our medications a couple times a year, a couple times a month, a couple times a week. We take our medication every day. And that's what we need to be doing with exercise. And we'll change our world if we do that.
So what does the rest of your day, I interrupted your day today to do this. We're recording roughly from 10:30 to 11 a.m. What did your day look like prior to this engagement? And what does it look like afterwards?
Well, the shocking thing that I can say right now is I've started sleeping again. I've never slept for more than 6 hours a night for years. I slept almost 9 hours last night, which is crazy. And so that's nice, but I get up late and it screws up my day. So I didn't do a whole lot before this. I literally showered and shaved and cleaned up, had breakfast, and came to this. So after this, I'll go do my exercise. I'll go work out. I've got a yoga routine I'll go do. And then I'm going to help my daughter who is applying for a new job, do a cover letter, and I've got some writing to do for a U-turn today that I need to get done. And then that'll be about all. That's about all for today.
Well, you already touched on it. One of the things we do here at the Parkinson's Project podcast is we always want to give something to the people who have given us their time. And we do that in the form of a call to action from our guests. And I think you've done that, telling people to, and I think you did earlier too, when you really said that you really need people to get involved with PD Avengers. So I don't mean to put words in your mouth. You've already touched this a couple of times. Is there anything else specifically you'd like to say as a parting shot as a CTA?
And if you're in Canada and want to get involved with U-turn Parkinson's, please give us a shout. We would love to get you involved either locally here, online. We're also looking for new board members starting this year. So you never know where these folks are going to come from. So I just throw those things out there. There's all kinds of ways for you to get involved with Parkinson's. If you're feeling alone, there is no reason to feel alone. Get involved. U-turn, PD Avengers, a myriad of other organizations out there that are wonderful. Reach out, find some help, and there are loads of people who are willing to assist you.
And the book, Perseverance, the 7 Skills You Need to Survive, Thrive, and Accomplish More Than You Ever Imagined, that's available at your website, Tim Sr, TIMSR.ca, correct?
That's correct.
And then they'll find you to book you as a speaker at the same location.
That's right.
Okay. And your schedule's not completely booked? You still have availabilities?
Yeah. Things have been spinning up after COVID, but COVID has slowed things way down, so it's still taking time. So yeah, you can reach out. We can see if we can make something happen.
Well, I sincerely hope that this gives you a boost in that area. Obviously, you're a man who's thought about this a lot, and you have a lot to offer. Tim Hague Sr., thank you. Thank you so much for not only joining us here today, but for what you're doing for the people in the Parkinson's community. I think it's beautiful. Here's hoping that 2023 treats you and your family well. And I hope that you won't be a stranger. I hope sincerely that our paths cross again.
Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate that, and I'm sure they will.
I look forward to it. All right. Hang on, and I will rejoin you in a moment if you'd be so kind. The Parkinson's Project seeks to be a place where you can come for a range of information about PD and to find support for yourself or perhaps a loved one. We encourage you to check us out on Facebook. And as Tim said, please rate us. We're the Parkinson's Project on Facebook. You can find us there, the Parkinson's Project podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Again, we'd appreciate the rating because that helps us to grow and to reach people and to continue our work. This has been the Parkinson's Project podcast for executive producer Pat Forcia. I am Tim McNiff. I want to thank you for joining us, and we look forward to meeting you and working with all of you as we seek to build a loving, supportive, and empowering community through all aspects of the Parkinson's Project.
Thank you for engaging with the Parkinson's Project podcast. Be sure to look for more content on the Parkinson's Project Facebook page, and we'll see you right here on the next edition of the Parkinson's Project podcast.